Good morning, guys, and happy Sunday. So today we'll be looking at some pairs, trying to do top-down analysis based on how we trade. And as we know, we only trade the liquidity concept, combining it with structure. So let's look at gold. Let's start from gold today. So since we are doing top-down analysis, let's start from the weekly time frame. Okay, so this is what the weekly time frame looks like on gold. Okay, this is what it looks like on gold. So on gold, first thing I can say here is that I have what's it called? I have a break of structure that will be taken out here. That's my break of structure, and I can see that we have swept liquidity to the left. Okay. Now, this is what I can see on my weekly time frame. Another thing I can see on my weekly time frame is that we have built liquidity above this zone here. Let me go with blue line. So this is what I can see on my weekly time frame. If I now go to my daily time frame and I want to look at things where based on the structure I'm seeing on the daily time frame. So you can see this is a sweep from the left hand side, and this is our break of structure. So on the daily time frame, we now have another break of structure going up here. Please, this is what you can see here. We have this break of structure, which means that the buyers are now induced. If these buyers are induced, what are we supposed to be looking at? So this is what I can see on the daily time frame. But remember, on the daily time frame, before we got this break of structure here, we also have this other break of structure to this downside, which is this one. Because we have this break of structure to the downside, it means that these sellers were induced. If these sellers were induced, where do we have liquidity, or where were these sellers trapped? So from this place here, I can see that they were trapped here. This is where we have liquidity, and that means that this high remains what my protected high. So based on what we have here, we can see that we have taken out liquidity here. Then this is a BOS. Here again is that we have another BOS here. BOS. I've taken out liquidity from the upside. So this is what I can see on my daily time frame. If I now go down to my 1 hour time, sorry, my 4 hour time frame now. Now, before we go to the 4 hour time frame, we can see that we swept something from this low here. Then the market came down to retest this zone. That means this place was protected. That place was a protected low. If that place was now the market have moved away. So let's go down to the 4 hour time frame now. So from this from the daily time frame now, you can see that we want to buy gold up to this level here before we can start looking for sales, because as you can see, this level is protected. We sweep something from that. Therefore I have a liquidity block there above, so that level is protected. So we want to buy gold to that level, then we can look for a way to start selling gold from this level. Get based on the price action it will deliver from this level. Get so if I go to my 4 hour time frame, so on the 4 hour time frame now, I now want to refine things on the 4 hour time frame. So this was the break of structure we got from the daily time frame. So on the 4 hour time frame now, this daily break of structure now looks like what? Looks like old highs in the market have been taken out. Therefore I can change this now to either I say we have taken out old highs in the market, or I can just rename it to a daily break of structure. I get G1. I can just put DBUS, something like this, to represent that BOS is a daily break of structure. Now I want to read price from this 4 hour time frame structure now. You get so we know that we had a sweep below here, making this low protected, and the market came down to retest this low and moved away. This is what we can see here, and moved away. Therefore this low here is no longer a protected low, because the market have already tested it and moved away. This low is now liquidity. If the market comes back to this place, it's going to be liquidity for the future. Now looking at the price action here, as price was going up, we can also see that we had a sweep here, and we had a break of structure to the upside. So because of this BOS to the upside, we now see that what buyers are induced. If buyers are induced, where are they trapped? Okay, so looking at this structure here, we can see that if we have a sweep here, it means that this low is protected. If that low is protected, I can see that buyers were trapped here. So this is where I want to take buy trade to the upside. This is where I want to take buy trade to the upside. Now this is what we can see from the 4 hour time frame. Now if I go up now, I can see that I have another break of structure here to the upside. which means that what, that buyers are also what, induced. If buyers are induced here, I want to check now if I have a protected low here. If I have a protected low, that means this can be a reaction for a short-term buy, because mind you, remember that we are taking out liquidity from this side, so we should be looking at sales. You get what? The market took out this liquidity out of my trading section. That is why I'm not in this trade. So the only way I can leverage on this trade is that I want to see a BOS in the opposing side. Since I have this break of structure here, I want to see another break of structure either in the 1 hour time frame or 15 minutes in the opposite side, so I can take that sell. So I go to the 1 hour time frame. This is how this trade looks like. BOS here, and we can see that did we sweep any low here? We took out something here, so this low is protected here for the meantime. Why we have broken structure here? Now for us to look at when the sales will happen, first to know when the sales will happen, because we're going to sell from here down to this point here where we have liquidity, then we can continue buying from that point. Okay, so I'll go to my 15 minutes time frame now. So on the 15 minutes, I can see that I have this protected level here, I have this sweep here. So that was a sweep here and a break of structure to the upside. So currently on gold, what I want to see is that I want to see gold trade below this zone. For me to sell, I want to see gold disrespect this level. If gold disrespect this level, it's too dark. Okay, correct. I want to see gold disrespect this level. If gold disrespect this level, I can then look for a liquidity above this high that I've been taking out. Then I can now place a sell order to the downside. Okay, so overall, buyers are induced. If buyers are induced, that means we are looking at taking sell to the downside to take out what, the early buyers liquidity. So this is what I have on gold. Okay, then let's look at the next listing, which is BTCUSD. So for BTCUSD, I can see, let me see what I can use. So BTC on the monthly time frame, what we can see here is that based on how we trade, you can see that this was a sweep. And we have built liquidity below this low. What else we can see is that we have gotten this break of structure to the downside, meaning that these sellers are what, induced. If these sellers are induced, where is their liquidity? If these sellers are induced here, I can see that their liquidity is above this high here. Because we have a sweep here. So we have a protected high above that place. So all these are what? All these are going to be liquidity because of that break of structure to the upside. Sorry, to the downside. So this is what I can see on my monthly time frame. Let me zoom out to see. Okay, then I can also see that the market are taking out this liquidity. This is where the market is reacting from. This. So if I go to my daily time frame, on the daily time frame, we can see that this point here where we have this sweep, we also had what, a break of structure to the downside, but let's leave that for now first. Now looking at the daily time frame, reading price action from this place here now, we can see that we had this break of structure to the downside. And whenever we have a break of structure in the market, we know that if we have a break of structure to the downside, we know that these sellers are induced. If these sellers are induced, we want to look for a place where those sellers were trapped or where they have liquidity. That is where we want to be trading from. So from this point here now, you can see that we had a sweep here to the upside. We are taking something above the high, and we can see that we have built liquidity here. Build liquidity here. So this is a potential buy target on BTC. This is where BTC is going to get to before we start looking for sales again. You get now, after this break of structure, we had another break of structure here again to the downside. this, telling us again that what, that buyers are also what, induced. If these buyers are induced, then we know that we have liquidity above this high. No need of marking this one here, you get, because we know that we have already built liquidity from this upside here, and we have a protected high above. So for us to buy, we need to see the same thing that played out here also played out in this other side. So since we have break of structure to the downside, we need to see a break of structure towards to the upside for us to be able to what, to buy BTC. Now from this level here, we can see on the daily time frame that this level, let me shift this a little bit, so we can see that we had another break of structure to the downside. So as of this point, this is also what, a BOS, you get, this is also a BOS. Why am I taking this? This is a BOS until this high is taken. Once this high is taken, this will now be a sweep, while this is not going to be our BOS. So on the daily time frame, we can see that price have taken out what, price is respecting this high here, sorry, it is respecting, not taking it, price is respecting this high. The fact that we have a high, a low, and price have come to retest that high means that we have built liquidity above what, above that high. So we also have liquidity above that high here. Since we have liquidity above that high, it means that all the sellers that are trying to sell this market from this place here what, are trapped. If they are trapped, that means we want to trade in this direction. Since the sellers are trapped, I want to look for a place where we can buy from here, then we can target this our liquidity above this high. So still on the daily time frame, what I can see here is that we have gotten this, after this break of structure, we got this sweep here on the daily time frame, liquidity sweep, and we got this break of structure to the upside, BOS. So we can see that we are bullish here. If we are bullish here because of this break of structure, it means what? It means the sellers are what? Sorry, the buyers are now what? Induced. Remember from this side, after we got this break of this first break of structure here, these sellers were induced. You get, if sellers are induced, we want to look at that price action to see where those sellers were trapped. That is, that place that they are trapped is going to be our liquidity. Now in this case now, where buyers are not induced here now, since buyers are not induced because of this break of structure, we also want to look for a level where these buyers have liquidity or where they have been trapped. So if I look at this place here, and I can clearly see that I have this trend line built up here. That means liquidity is resting below this low. So I can just mark here now as what, as liquidity. So this is what I can see on the daily time frame. Probably if I go to my 4-hour time frame, I might see a way to refine it, you get. Now because we have liquidity below here, we are anticipating Bitcoin to sell up to this point here so that we can buy from here and continue this bullish trend. Since we have a break of structure now to the upside and we have gotten this sweep here, we can continue this bullish trend to the upside. And why do we want to position ourselves for this buy? The first reason why we want to position ourselves for this buy is that one, we are building tons of liquidity above this high. You can see this was a retest. You can see that this high was respected once here, and the market might still come up here to test this low. So since we have all these retests here, it means that what, we have been building liquidity above that high. If we have been building liquidity above that high, what we now want to do is we want to trade in that direction. Okay, so we want to see this market comes into this place. Okay, take out this place, then we can start buying from here. This is the direction for Bitcoin. Now another thing you can look at this place here is that for us to come down to this place and take out this liquidity, we need to see a break of structure to the downside. That is the only time we can say, okay, that this market is ready to sell to this point here so that we can buy from here to the upside. Now if I look at this price action correctly now, I can see that after this break of structure, I had what, another break of structure to the upside. Yeah, meaning that what, that these buyers also what, induced there. Now after that, I had another break of structure here. I had another break of structure to the upside here. Now for this break of structure here, now I can see that the low that caused that break of structure is this one here, and it has been taken out. The fact that this low has been taken out now means that what, that the sellers in here are now what, are now induced. If the sellers are induced, where is their liquidity? So from this point here now, I can see that we have a high. We have built this high. Sorry, we have this high, and the market came up here and create liquidity. So I want to see the market take out this liquidity on the higher time frame for me to sell down to this point here. You get. So this is what I can see. Okay, we have built. I can see that we have liquidity above this high here. So this is where I want to sell Bitcoin from to come and take out this low here. Okay. So if I now go to my 4-hour time frame now, so my 4-hour time frame now, what I want to do is I want to like look at refine things here. You get. Okay. So from this level now, this is where we had that BOS. This is our sweep. That means we have a protected low here. That's going to be our stop loss once we want to start taking this trade. Then we can see that this, okay, our BOS, we got it correctly, that is our BOS. But our liquidity, this is not going to be the liquidity because this is not the first early buyers. This is not our first early buyers. Yeah. So we want to see Bitcoin trade below this zone, take out this low before we can do what we can enter for any reasonable buys to the upside. Now this break of structure here, let me refine it. It is correct. This and this was the low that caused this last break of structure. So at this point when we have taken out this low, now we now know that what that these sellers are now what are now induced. All these sellers that happen here now are now induced. If these sellers are induced, where are they trapped? So we can see that these sellers were, you can see we have a high here, low, retest, market came down, retest this zone. So I can clearly state that this place here, all this zone here now, that we are building what? We are building liquidity above that zone, right? If we are building liquidity above this zone, it means that what? These sellers are being induced around this place. That these sellers are being induced around that zone here. If these sellers are being induced around this zone, it means that this place is what? This place is a trap. So we can see that sellers are trapped here. Sellers. So we can see that we have trapped sellers around this place. That's trapped. So sellers are trapped here. So if sellers are trapped here, it means that we don't want to be taking sales inside of this zone. Now, if I look closely now from this chart here now, I can see that we are taking something from the left here. The fact that we are taking something from that left means that this high is protected for the meantime. But remember again that we have gotten the retest, that this retest that happened here is already making this place liquidity. This side here now, sorry, yeah, this above this high now is liquidity already. But because of this sweep that we have here to the upside, it means that this high here now, this particular high here, is protected. Let me mark it. It's what protected. But remember that we have liquidity above this zone. You get. Now we have gotten a break of structure to the downside. That is why for me I might not actually take this trade, this set trade immediately, because okay, if I look at this place here now, this is where the main liquidity is. Since I have a protected high above that place, because of this liquidity, I might not look at taking this trade immediately when this market come up here, because of this liquidity that is above this place. But if I want to go aggressively, I can just take the trade and put my stop loss above that place, because for this market, for these buys to continue, for us to have these buys that we are looking at, is this low, this liquidity here needs to be taken out based on high trade. It is when this liquidity is not taken out, that is when I will not be satisfied that this market is going to go up. Okay, so here we know that sellers are trapped here and we have liquidity above this high. Now let's look at this high again. Let me see. Let's look at this high and see. Okay, I can see that this is a liquidity block here. I can see that I have a liquidity block here. Let me go back to the line chart. So I can see that this above this high now is the protected high. So my liquidity is around this place here. That's my liquidity. This place here, for me, this place is protected. Here, it's protected. So I can take this trade and put my stop loss above that high. So that is what you can see now on the 4-hour time frame. So we are looking at taking out this liquidity, then we are going to sell to the downside. Now let's read the 4-hour price action. So you can see that we have what? We have equal lows here. Since we have an equal low here, the market did not take out this low. It means that this low is not protected. We have built liquidity below here. So instead of me putting that, I can just put my box to show me that I have a retest here. If I have a retest here, then I can now bring out this level now. to show that this is liquidity, not a protected low. If that is liquidity, then it means that something needs to happen here. You get. Now, if I look at the recent current market structure here, we get. If I look at the recent current market structure, I can see that we have what? We have a break of structure to the upside. Because of this break of structure that we have to the upside, we now know that what these buys that happen here now, that the buyers are now what induced. If the buyers are induced, we want to let's go to the lower time frame and open up this price action. So this is when I will now go to my 1 hour time frame. So on my 1 hour time frame, we can see that we had what? We had this sell off to this point here now. We took out liquidity from this downside here. I see that we took out something from this point here. I get. But then for this buy that happened here, let me find this structure. For this buys that happen here now, let's look into these buys and see. So we can see that we have what? We have a break of structure to the downside. Sorry, we have swept something to the downside. This is a sweep. Then this is the break of structure to the upside. BOS. So if this is our BOS, it means that this point here now where we mark as our BOS on the 4 hour time frame is now what? Is now an old high. We have taken out old highs in the market. OH. I'll just put OH. We have taken out old highs in the market. Let me save this as a template. So we're taking out old highs. We're taking out old highs in the market. Now, if you look at this point here now, because we want to sell from this zone here, that means this market still needs to buy up to this point here. We still need to buy up to this point here since we have liquidity resting above the high. But then you can see that these BOS that we have here now, that these buyers are trapped. If these buyers are trapped, where is their liquidity? So this can be their liquidity. So once we see the market take out this low, then we can now buy from here to the upside. Now, because this break of structure happened on the 4 hour time frame, I can see that it is visible on the 4 hour. Then this is when I can now look at my 15 minutes. Let me look at what my 15 minutes and see how price is reacting from that zone. So my 15-minute time frame now, I can see that this place here where we say is our liquidity is not actually our liquidity, because you can see that from this point here now we have swept something, created a high, created a low, created another high, then the market came to retest that low. Because of this retest that happened here, that is where liquidity has been built. Because for these buys that happen now, remember, because of this break of structure, these buyers were induced, and this is where they were trapped. Yeah, that is where they were trapped. So because of that trap, this is where my liquidity is. So I'm looking at Bitcoin selling up to this point here. If Bitcoin can sell up to this point, I'm going to buy from here. So let me show you my trade ID on Bitcoin. Along here, stop loss below this zone. So this is my trade ID on the lower time frame. Okay, if Bitcoin comes into this place, I'm going to buy Bitcoin from here. Then I want to sell overall. For now, I want to sell Bitcoin overall to this point here now, where we have liquidity resting below this low. First one, that's going to be our first take profit. Okay, let's just put this thing above this one. So we have liquidity resting below this low, and we also have this liquidity here that needs to be taken out here. Again, and we have identified that we have a liquidity block above this high. Let me confirm again. If I use line charts, I can see that there's a liquidity block here. Therefore, my stop loss is going to become just a little bit above that place. So this is my trade ID on Bitcoin. So let's look at the last pair for today, which is GBPUSD. What is happening on this pair? Let me clear everything. So on GU, we can see that on the monthly time frame, we have this break of structure to the downside, meaning that these sellers are induced. If these sellers are induced, we now need to check this high, is it a protected high or is it liquidity? So we can see that we have a high here, a low, and this is a retest. Because of this retest, we cannot know that this high is not protected, that liquidity is resting above that high. So having known that, let's look at what is happening here on the current market price on GU, we can see that we have a break of structure to the upside here, meaning that what buyers are what induced. If buyers are induced, where is their liquidity? So we cannot see clearly here, so we now jump to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, this break of structure that happens here, this break of structure that looks, this high that was taken out here that looks like a break of structure, it's not actually a break of structure, but what old highs in the market that was taken out. So let's change it to old highs. We're taking old highs. Then remember, we have swept something from this low. Because of we have swept something here, this place was protected when the market was going up. But then look at what I have here. After once we have a break of structure to the downside, this place is no longer going to be protected. Why? Because of what we have a low, high, and the market have come to retest that low. So because this is a retest, I can now think this place now as what liquidity. And as you can also see that this is also what the bigger retest. So I can just drag my line like this now. So we have liquidity resting below this low on GU that we need to target. Now we have a break of structure to the upside. We now have another break of structure to the upside here again. So here buyers are induced, here buyers are induced. If buyers are induced, where are they trapped and where is their liquidity? Now buyers are induced here. This is the low that created this high. Now let's look at this low here. Now we can see that we have swept something from this side. Because we have seen something from this side, this place was protected until now that we are taking structure above. Now since we have a BUS to the upside, for us to sell, and we know that we have built liquidity below here, for us to start selling up to this point here, we need to see the same thing, a break of structure to the opposite side. Now at this point here now is where I have my break of structure to the opposite side, BUS. Now because of this break of structure here now, it means that what these early sellers here now what are now induced. If they are induced, where are they trapped? Now because of this break of structure that have happened here, this place is no longer going to be a break of structure. It's going to be what a sweep. If that place is going to be a sweep for me, okay, sorry, no, this is still a break of structure because we are not taking out this low. Sorry, BUS to the upside. Now where is the liquidity here? For this, the liquidity is above this high. We have liquidity above this high. So for us to sell down to this low here, this high needs to be taken out. We need to take out this high, then we can sell to this point here on GU. Now that is what we can see on the weekly time frame. We have break of structure and we need this liquidity to be taken out. Now on the daily time frame, let's see what the daily is showing us. So on the daily time frame, we can see that this market came up here. Instead of taking out this stuff, we had a retest. Now this retest here, you can deem this to be about an engineer liquidity, but for the sake of this video, let me just go with that these early sellers are trapped. So once I identify this zone that these sellers are trapped, it means that for me to take any reasonable sales to target this liquidity below, I need this high to be taken out. Then I will now, once this high is taken out, I will now sell from here to this downside. Now let's continue reading price action. Now remember that we sweep something here below, and before this market had this retest here, we took out something below here, and this is a sweep. Let me mark it a sweep, and this is what a break of structure. This is a BUS to the upside. Because of this sweep and this BUS, it means that this whole place is what is a liquidity block, LB. By trap. So it means that this whole place is what is a liquidity block, and the market came out and retested the side of this liquidity block. Now that the market have retested this place is now also what a trap. Now for the people that bought from this place, now this is now going to be what our buyers trap. That buyers are trapped here. Because buyers are trapped here, it now gives us a sense that once we take out this liquidity here, none of these lows here are going to hold. Why? Because buyers are trapped here. We have built liquidity below this low, so we have a liquidity that we need to target below this low here. So let's continue reading price actions on the daily time frame. Now you can see that we had a retest here, break of structure here, and the market, see, we had a retest here. This retest, we swept something, and we had a break of structure, making this entire place what a liquidity block. because that place is a liquidity block, because this place is a liquidity block, you can see that when the market came up here, this acted as what as our liquidity. The market have taken out that high LQ. The market have taken out that high, and we have also done what? We have also broken structure to the downside. BUS to the downside. After we took out this high, we have broken structure to the downside. But then there's something you need to be paying attention to. Remember, we need to take out this liquidity here, and our main break of structure, the first break of structure we had here, this BUS here. Because of this BUS, when our liquidity is resting above this place, because of what? These cells that happen here now are trapped above that place. So every other thing that you are doing here, you have to play, like you have to align it with this break of structure that we have gotten from this place here now. So in as much as we know that this is what, now we have swept liquidity here and we sold, we have swept something and sold, we need to look at it at this point. We need to look at this whole price action from a bigger picture, and the bigger picture here is that we have a BUS here. This low here, what is it acting at? So if I put my cursor here now, you can see that that was also what, a BUS to the downside. Because it's also a BUS to the downside, it means that what, that these sales that happen here also what, induced. If these sales are induced, we now want to see a break of structure to the opposite side so that we can start buying this market to the upside. And that break of structure happened here. Because of this BUS here, it means that this entire whole place is what, is protected. Let me zoom out. Oh, let's go to the forward time frame so that we can see price action well. So it means that this entire place is what, is protected. If this entire place is protected and we had this low here, it means that this place here now, this low that happened here, is what, is our engineered liquidity. Engineered liquidity, we have it here. Yes, no, we don't have it. Let me create it. So this, we have engineered liquidity below this low. Let me save it. So we have engineered liquidity below this low. So what we are expecting now is that price will come up here, tap into this place, so that we can continue buying. Now look at where it gets tricky. Remember, we have, this was a break of structure to the downside, meaning that all these sellers are what, induced, right? Now we now got here, got a sweep, the market broke structure to the upside. Now that the market have broken structure to the upside, all these buys now are now induced. Now this point here now where we had as a sweep, we can take this as what, as old highs in the market that was taken out. Old highs. Why? Because we have liquidity above here that we need to target. Now for us to be able to target this liquidity, we need to come and take out this low, because we have created what, engineered liquidity around this zone. Yes, we can also argue that there are some liquidities that are resting inside of this zone here, but since this is a liquidity block, I'm going to treat it as a whole. That means when, if the market comes into this zone, I want it to print the same price action before I can buy, because of this this choppy price action. Now what can we see from here? We can see that from this point here now that we have switched something here again. Now because we have taken out old highs and we have swept something here, you get, this was liquidity before and we have swept this liquidity here. Because of what? If this is an old high, it means that if we have taken out old highs here and the market have broken structure here on the forward time frame, it means that what, that these people that said earlier are induced. If they are induced, where are they trapped? See the same thing. We had a high here, low, high, the market came to retest this zone. That means these early sellers are trapped here. If they are trapped there, that means above that place we have what, liquidity resting above that place. Now the market has taken out that liquidity, meaning this high is what, is protected. If the high is protected, as you can see, the market took out that high. Now I was expecting that since the market have taken out this high, for me to sell this market, because I didn't enter immediately, the market took out this high. If I had entered, my trade would have been here, stop loss above this place, then I'm targeting this low. But look at the catch here now, because I did not enter here. Why didn't I enter? When the market took out this high was not my trading session. It's about 1 o'clock in the night. Now I was expecting that this market would disrespect this level. I was waiting for this level to be what, disrespected, before I do what I look for trade ideas. but that level has not been disrespected. What can I see here now? I can see that last week during NFP now that we have swept this high now. Remember, we swept this place, we got caught up with price here. That means price was respecting this zone, meaning that we are building liquidity below this zone. Now that I know that we are building liquidity below this zone, and I know that I have liquidity below here that this market needs to take so that I can continue this buy. And what I can see here now is that what price swept this previous high. That means we are taking this high again as liquidity. These are some price actions that you need to be looking at. You need to see this happen. Once you see something like this happen, know that you have a trade. Now that this price has swept that high, let me show you how price swept that high. So price has swept that high. So what it means for me is that if I want to take this trade here now, I don't need to put my stop loss above this other high again. My stop loss can just come above this high. Now let's look at the 15 minutes and see what price is doing. So on the 15 minutes, price took out something here. We are taking out the liquidity here, blah blah blah. So this price action is not actually clear to me. Why? I need price to take out this low so that I will know that we are bearish. That will give me what a break of structure if price take out that low. Now another thing I can see, okay, let me check the 5 minutes time frame first. Okay, another thing I can see here is that we broke structure here, took out the liquidity. Okay, so this high was a protected high. Yes, but then once we take out this low, I'm looking at price coming back to this point here now, because this is a liquidity block. If this is a liquidity block, it means that is where I want to see price enter. But I don't like coming to the lower time frame like this. What I will just do is I will just wait here and see if I will get a BUS to the downside. Once I get a BUS to the downside, I will now look for what liquidity around this place, because now remember that we have a zone here where the market have not actually taken out. You get, I want to see this zone being disrespected if I can take a sell here. If I could not get a reasonable place to sell, it is also good. I've already done the framework to know that this is where I want to buy this market from on the 4-hour time frame here, because of what we have liquidity above here that we need to take out. Once we take out this liquidity here, that is when we can now start looking at sales to the downside. But for now, our main trade is that we want to take out this high. That means we want to see the market sell to this place, then we can buy this place. Want to see the market sell to this place, then we can now buy from here to this zone. Okay, so that is what I have for you on this week on top-down analysis. You can look at this, then practice well, and know what you'll be looking out for the week. As you can see, we're just trading the same thing. We're just waiting for the market to just break structure, then we know where we look for where the market has built liquidity or a level that was induced, or where we have trapped in the market. You get. So thank you.